I'm specifically talking to those of you in the higher latitudes, probably up above 40 degrees. So Europe, northern part of the USA, Canada for sure, and southern parts of Australia. I think if you're someone stepping out of a nice sailing boat and you've had the sailing lifestyle, but you can now see a different style of boating that you want to enjoy, I think you will particularly see some value in a boat like this. And also others who've potentially had a fly bridge or a bigger vessel, and now you want something that's really nice but easier to manage. So that's sort of who I believe we're talking to. But as always, please jump in the comments and let me know. What are you looking at? What are you comparing this with, and what do you have right now? Because that's how we improve, and that's how I can film some more interesting videos for you. So what are we on? Guys, this is the Marex 310 Sun Chaser. We are in beautiful Mallorca. I hope you enjoy this spot we've selected for you. And this is going to be the detailed tour. The next video, we're going for a drive. So if you're interested in the layout, then you want to see how the performance is, that's going to be the next video. I'll link to that at the end of this one. My name's Dan Jones. Welcome to Dan's Boat Life. So, solo operator, if you've got enough training, twin engine, but also options for single, joystick on this particular boat, beautiful amount of accommodation, really, really nice, sensible, entertaining cockpit, and packed full of good ideas, built to a much higher standard than a lot of your production boats. Those are the takeaway points that I have so far for the Marex. This is the first time I've driven a Marex. I've been touring them at many of the boat shows, and I've met Espen, one of the bosses or the owner of the company, and he's really educated me a lot on this brand, and I think they have legs, or this brand has legs for other parts of the world. So you have this beautiful door or gate that you can step through. You do just step over, but on the transom, come over and have a look. You've actually got beautiful seats here, and you can use it like this in a location as we are, but it's also got storage for fenders. You got your gas, and then also shallow storage there, and deep storage, plus shore power and hot and cold shower just in there, tucked in to port. We've got little lights, courtesy lights. That's these small dots here, and your swim ladder pops up on this side, and it's a decent one with some steps on it, the teak steps, beautifully done. One of the neat features about all the Marex boats is the covers. So they will actually pull out in a curtain and enclose the cockpit. So this boat, and that carries up through the Marex range, allows you to do that, and it's really awesome when a rain shower comes through last minute. It allows you to just open this on both sides and then pull the curtains around, and the roof is manually operated. Same thing, so you can enjoy the sun, but then you can knock it out when you need to, or if you need some rain protection. Let's go up to the bow, so come with me. And yeah, I think you're just going to be impressed with the build quality on these things. Driving it through a few bits of chop today, it's a solid little boat. Doesn't really flex or twist around. It feels good through the swells, and then everything that you look at on deck and down below, wait until you see the interior on this. It feels like a Halberg Grassi or an X-Yacht. So if you're a sailor and you understand the quality of those boats, that's what these feel like downstairs. So if you're from Australia, I think you could put this in a similar category to a Riviera in terms of the standard of quality. The styling's completely different, but the standard of quality that I'm observing up on deck, it's quite nice. So good stainless here, paying attention to the welds. They've all been really nicely done. So that's a more expensive way to finish a stainless steel job. This sun lounge up the bow here has actually got closed cell foam, so it doubles as a floaty toy. Just don't lose it. You're gonna have to tie it onto something because it'll go away with the wind if you don't think about that. But beautifully done. You've got access to an escape hatch and ventilation down to the accommodation below. See how it's flush, but you can actually see directly to the chain. So your safety's there. Obviously the windlass is below deck, but you can see everything. So it's a pretty no nonsense. And then, as a lot of Scandinavian boats do, if you need to board from the bow, you just open this chain here. So life's relatively easy. Nice stainless work there. Good amount of deep storage for fenders, that is drained. We've got all stainless and the quick anchor windlass on this one. Sensible cleats, out of the way, you're not going to trip on them. Nice flat decks, bit of an angle here, but relatively easy to move around. And then I could just slide my bum on the bow rail should I need extra support, not an issue. Windscreen's great. This is a boat or a design for essentially extending your seasons, because you do have a lot of protection from the wind. We've got the freshwater wash on the wipers, and you are going to be able to have the option to just close that roof, keep yourself comfortable, and I think extend your season depending on what part of the world you're in. You know, if you're in South Island, New Zealand, or if you're up in Maine, some of those places, you might want to consider a diesel heater to extend it properly. But it's also going to be good from a rain perspective as well. Diesel in just here. My watch is trying to talk to me. Fresh water in there, midship cleats here. We've got some vents as well. Relatively easy access for most people, okay? It's still a planing boat. It's not a displacement boat, so it will rock around a little bit. It's going to swing a bit more on anchor. So consider that if you are coming from a sailing yacht. We don't have a keel down below, so this style of hull is going to move more. However, you can also get in closer to shallow water. So we're in about 2.5 meters depth right now. There's no way you're going to do that on a 50-foot sailing yacht, because you're going to need at least that for your keel. So those are some of the considerations that you need to think about how you're going to boat. But come on down, because this is lovely. I'm going to sit down for perspective. This is something I think Marex are particularly doing very, very well. This social space is wonderful. As you can see, it's taking up the full beam of this part of the boat, but the design of the cushions allows this sort of thing. It's very comfortable. You use this as an armrest, and you can do it on both sides. So that's quite nice here, and I'm completely out of the wind just here, so it's very, very pleasant. I've actually got on gas struts storage underneath all of these. We've got big gas struts and access into the engine bay. We've got fuel tank, we've got the engines, batteries, everything below here, hot water system. We'll look at that later on in the video, and more storage underneath these ones just here. So everything's really easy to get to. So if you need to go away for a week or so and store all your extra provisions, that's a place for it should you need. And this table is awesome. How good is that? So we've got 6 cup holders. This will drop down and turn into a bed, I assume, because I can see the drop down leg just there, and the roof opens and closes. And just in here, I'm not going to deploy it, but that's your clears that pull out in the track system. It's so much better than having to manually deploy them, which, to be fair, is a bit of a pain in the ass, because it's always going to be, at the end of the day, you're going to be hot and sweaty and you don't enjoy doing it. Got some downlights just up here, manual bilge pump there, emergency fuel stop, and we've got some lights, speakers, lovely stainless. The quality, it's noticeable on this. This is not, you can't compare this with a production mass market build. We've got Chris, the owner. Thank you for allowing us to borrow and use your boat today. One of the standout features that's different on this 310 that you don't see, and I'm going to show you this in 1 second, is this really wide companionway. So this will actually drop down, similar to a lot of sailing yachts you see today, but this massive door is a lot wider than what you're going to see on most powerboats, and allows you to flow straight into the galley. So rather than having to try and squeeze in a galley or a barbie station up on deck and lose all of that seating area, let's face it, you're not cooking all day long. The idea is to lounge and relax. You can do your prep. You've still got a window here to see the views. My view out this way is exceptional, and then everyone can enjoy themselves up on deck. But let's just get a feel for the Helm station. So come in the next video if you're interested in the driving and the performance. It's quite a comfortable boat to sit and drive. So visibility is great. Your comfort factor from where I am is very, very nice. You've got a bit of angled deck forward for your feet, and essentially almost 2 armrests, but your throttle hand is quite comfortable. You got your zip wakes just here, twin throttles or single if you option it up with a single motor, joystick just forward, and then you've got your analogs, controls, your digital flat screen, SIMRAD multifunctional display, engine batteries, all of your boat systems. It's still nice to see switches. I know a lot of boats are trying to digitize everything. I find that kind of annoying because if you're in a flat screen having to dial into a menu to operate different systems, it's Murphy's Law that you're in a bouncy or an exposed part of the water and your fingers you struggle to find the button. So I like seeing this. We've got key start for the motors just here. This is actually the bow thruster operation, so it looks like a boat. It's very no nonsense. 2 buttons for on, left is left, right is right, then your off button there. That's your SIMRAD VHF. That's your Fusion. Just here, you've got the quick chain counter and the Sea Marine. That's going to be your power display just there. But tucked in underneath my right foot is all your fuses. Again, simple, sensible location, because if you pop a fuse, you can reach it from the helm, which is kind of handy. Got a little phone pocket just there as well. And these seats, it looks like it'll actually go forward and aft because we've got this just here. So that should allow us to get some movement, bit of storage underneath, and we've got the 2 flip-up bolsters. So the skipper can still stand up while the navigator can relax and enjoy. Look at these seats, cross-stitching, really, really well done. 2 drink holders. They're not wide enough for a beer cooler, so you're going to have to think about that if you're in the tropics. But the darker matte display forward of the helm is going to stop any glare in the tropics, so that's good, because when they do this in white, it's actually quite a pain in hot countries because the sun will glare back into your face and you can't see what you're doing. The fridge, it's kind of hidden on this boat. Underneath here, well insulated, pretty deep. You can get a lot of stores in there, so that's pretty good. Nice, high quality drawers. Look at the timber work. It does feel like an expensive sailing yacht when I do this. It doesn't feel like your average powerboat whatsoever. We've got beautiful seat just here, a little bit of storage underneath, flip up bolster. This is not a fridge, although you might think it is. It's actually a window into the accommodation downstairs because we've got 2 lovely cabins, which we're about to have a look at now. But before we get there, come on down and let's check out the galley. I won't open everything, but look at all that overhead storage. It's nice how they've got these little panels. I think it's a good sort of styling look. You've got this rail here, which is quite clearly designed to take. See that? That's clever. There's lots of good little sensible ideas. You can tell that the designers of these Marex boats actually do a lot of boating, because stuff like that is not always all that common. So neat storage, plenty of drawers, soft closing, some deep. Look at that. Another good feature, so you can get your bits and pieces. You can move these around, and you can stow your cups and your plates, and they're not going to move. You put pots and pans in there, and you've even got a little bit of storage underneath that step, which is going to be perfect for a vacuum cleaner, as we already see. So from here, I think we'll go forward, and then we'll check out the head and the accommodation, but we can even open up the floor here to get access into the bilge. So that's a sensible bit of design. I think we're probably going to call this the master, but the accommodation is very lovely on this boat. So, well, first things first, you've got a cute little seat just in here, so somewhere to sit down, put your shoes on when you need. This bed's massive, so it's obviously a bit of an offset style. Beautiful windows, opening ports, so you can see one behind my head, another one, same space on starboard. We also have an opening hatch up on the deck that's going through the sun lounge. But actually, I'll jump on the bed for some perspective, because it is quite big. Obviously, got to remember with this style of bed, if you're with a partner and you need to pee, you've got to roll over your partner. So it's a little bit of a drama, but it's not the end of the world. And you can also potentially, look how big, you You can possibly even just sleep like this and get 2 people. It's quite a big bed. There's a few options. Decent amount of storage just in here. Couple sensible little areas for t-shirts and shorts and that. But if you fly to your boat, so if you keep the boat, say here in Majorca, and you live in London, you're going to need to put your luggage somewhere. So this is the perfect place for a couple of suitcases, because essentially underneath here it's just access into the bilge, and bow thruster access is straight underneath this piece of timber. These are on gas struts, as you can see, so really easy to get into. So you can probably just empty those bags out, deploy what you need to, and off you go for your holidays. So this is the head. Come in here. So it's a wet head, but we've got a shower with a shower curtain. So the shower curtain goes around this track here. So that means if you use the shower curtain, you can still keep the loo dry, because you see the curtain finishes here. So it will manage things for you. You've got 2 drains in there, beautiful piece of corian, and then we've got nice little bit of storage in there. Again, a big window, opening port just there. We also have a vent in here for air conditioning, I would assume, or heating. We've got a couple little hooks for towels. These are actually dotted all around the boat. I saw some of these in the master berth forward as well, which is good to see, because you can always have towels and things to hang, which is handy. Electric macerator toilet, hot and cold obviously for the loo. And you've also got a decent lip here, so you're never going to get any water going from this wet head out into the galley like is possible on some boats. And then we got the second cabin, which is pretty decent. So I'm 5'7", I've still got a decent amount of space above my head. More towel hooks. We've actually got 4 towel hooks up here, which is great, because you're always going to have a beach towel and a bath towel, so sensible. Light switch just here. Pretty much a full stand-up mirror just there, and that's also hanging locker. So note that you've got that in this cabin and not the other one. Neat little seat, and then you've got a lot of space as well. So what you may or may not have noticed, this window is huge. You could almost escape through this window if you needed, but what it does provide, and we've got quite a few waves coming through, boats just gone past us, it gives you an epic amount of ventilation. So if you just wanted to not do air conditioning or heating, you can have through flow ventilation from this hatch, and then you've got another opening port on the hull on starboard, and it really is going to be quite nice. You've got lights all around. I suspect you'll probably sit up on this side, on the starboard side, because you've got all this space, and the roof actually does get a little bit higher in the middle of the bed just there. So the design goes up a little bit to allow for the window, and then you've got storage, and then open storage just in the middle, and even a sensible little shelf just there. So good setup. Obviously storage for the extra cushions for going on top of the table. This is the logical place to put them, and also, you know, other guest bags, people who come out for a bit of day boating. Logically, you're going to store all those bags just there. Guys, I'm not selling any of these boats, nor am I making paid advertorials. I've been boating for 30 years on power and sail, and today all I do is videos for you to help your boat life. So if my experience can help you and choose which boat is right for your boat life, the only way to communicate with me is on Connect. Link is down below in the description. Engine access through this big hinged door. It's not a mechanic's dream, to be fair, if you go for the twin engines, because you after access to the motors, I've seen better. But if you had the single motor, you're going to have a much better in terms of access. Otherwise, it's very, very professionally finished. So actually, maybe pass me the camera, Em. I'll grab it off you and bring you guys down with me. So we've got the Mercury diesels. It's very professionally done down here. So you can see the blower, you can see some of the power distribution. That's your fuel tank just there. So she's diesel. You can even option this with a petrol Mercruiser V8 if you want. All the other options are single diesel. And then you look aft, and both motors are here. You can see, you saw the Fireboy on top of attached to the bulkhead forward on the engine bay, and that's going into the bilge. You can see the stringers protecting the hull, and I've dropped my sunnies. So yeah, not bad. And I think what we'll do from here is pop out on the back of the boat, and I'll talk to you guys about who I think is probably going to see the most value out of a boat like this. Okay, so who is going to see the most value out of owning a boat like this, and who should maybe think twice about owning a boat like this? What was I talking about when I meant people above the 40 degrees latitude particularly are going to see more value in owning a boat of this style? It's because of the stern drives. If you're winterizing your boat, you will see more value in owning stern drives. If you're in Sydney or Miami, you got to think about it. If you're dry stacking it or you have it in a lift, then it's possibly okay. If you're going to keep it on a swing mooring, like so many of you do, well, then you just got to factor in the servicing and make sure you do your servicing. Otherwise, you could have a few little dramas. So consider that. What does stern drives give you? It gives you a lot of maneuverability. If you're trained in the right way, it gives you the joystick operation, so you can hold station in tight quarters. That means you can operate a boat of this style, which is a planing vessel. You can operate it solo if you've got the right training. So you can come into the marina, press station hold on the joystick, and the boat's going to stay where you want it to stay whilst you deploy the fenders, prepare your lines and all that sort of stuff, and all your guests can essentially stay out of the way. So these things are possible with the right education and training. I think people who, as I said before, who are coming out of sailing will see value because it's a high quality boat. It's a conservative looking boat. It's not too lairish like so many power boats, and there is a real culture in the sailing community that want to probably lean towards the more conservative styling. So I do understand that, and they will understand and appreciate the very high quality fit and finish that we've got right throughout this boat. This is a very, very good build. You can feel that whilst it's underway as well. What would you compare it with? Well, I'm going to talk about that in the test drive in the next video, if that's of interest to you. And the design, I love so many of these good ideas. This brand has been pumping out sensible, boaty, sensible ideas that are sensible to boaties, is what I was trying to say, for years. I've been observing them from a distance, and now I'm experiencing it. It is a thing. So if you've done a lot of boating, if you've had a larger boat, or if you've had a mass-produced boat and you want something a sensible size that can accommodate 4, maybe up to 6 if you were happy to do one night with kids sleeping up here in the cockpit, it's going to do all of that without requiring a massive berth. So if you are a fan of the design, if you're a fan of the looks of this boat and you want to see how she performs, that's the next video. We're doing it just on the other side of the bay. It's beautiful. It's very inspiring, this place. So click on the link coming up on the screen right now, and then you can join us for the sea trial. We got the twin 270 diesels. So they're the Mercury diesels on this one, and we're going to be going for a spin, take up to full speed, but mostly focus on what the cruising speeds and fuel flows you're going to achieve on this boat are and how she behaves around the dock. So if you like seeing this content and you want to see me test more boats, go ahead and subscribe, share it with your mates, comment. Honestly, that's what helps me get access to more cool boats like this. So subscribe, share it, and I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.